Hi everyone, this is Tracy again from Tracy's Personal Training, Pilates and Yoga. I wanted to send you another message today with a YouTube video, or wherever this video will land. A little more about the walking gaits to help you guys who are having walking challenges, stroke survivors trying to come back. So, the last video is quite long. I'm going to make this a little shorter. So we're going to go right into it. So there is a system called the Posterior Oblique Subsystem. So I mention often to my clients, and I think I've mentioned in videos before with you guys, that you have this lat muscle, thoracolumbar fascia in the middle, and you have your glutes. Your left lat works with your right glute. So here's another picture here. You'll see it a little better too. So you see how you have the lat muscle, you have the glute muscle, the opposite ones working together through that fascia. So we'll go back here, you can see this a little more. So the reasons I want to bring this up, a couple reasons. Knowing that these muscles work together for walking, running, movement, locomotion. So when you're moving your body for walking and trying to get your walking back, you're moving through here with your arms, and they work together. So this is working with here, and then vice versa. So for a few reasons I was mentioning, I would say, so one reason. A few weeks ago, I mentioned in some of the stroke recovery support groups on Facebook that I was asked to write a CEC course in stroke recovery, and as I was working on it, I wanted to ask you guys what you have struggled with trying to find more care after physical therapy, trying to find a trainer, what to do when you're done with therapy. Maybe you need more therapy. Where do you go when therapy ends, and how do you continue? Or what struggles everyone's had. So a lot of the answers I got didn't surprise me because I've seen a lot of it myself, and a lot of the things I was already aware of. But one thing I was actually surprised to hear that survivors mentioned, that often they have, whoever they're working with, only work the side of the body that was affected from the stroke. But when you think of how these systems work together, you need to work both sides of the body. You need to work the full body. And so this is an example, just getting your walking gait back, getting your movement, your walking, getting all these systems working together. So if you get a chance, look up the posterior oblique subsystem in the body, and it talks about the opposite lat works with the opposite glute. They go through the thoracolumbar fascia, which is a very powerful fascia. And a lot of studies of fascia the last few years, even the last year, even more, talk about how that fascia actually, the fascia might be the beginning of movement before the muscle, because there are nerves that go through the fascia. So there's a lot more to it than just sitting in a machine, counting, 3 sets of 10 or 20, or the bicep curl. It's movement together, and your brain's trying to get function for walking and moving and lifting and getting up and off the floor and all the things that the body did before the stroke. So work both sides of the body. That's one reason I wanted to bring this up too. And there's more systems in the body like this too, but this is a really good one when you're working your walking gait to understand. So you want to work the glutes. My last video I showed some muscle, 2 different ways to work your glutes, one standing, one on the knees. There's a lot more to learn too, but I threw a few in there. And another thing, posture. So I've had a few clients, well actually several in the last 20-something years, that come to me. Probably 60% of my clients, when I meet them, their shoulders are in the air. I had to learn that in my early 20s. I used to sit at my desk, and one of the girls, I worked at a pediatric office, she would come by my desk and go, pull your shoulder down, pull your shoulder down. I was always having neck and little issues in here and tight stuff. But I was like this all the time, which means I was tightening all this up, flexing the traps, the little muscles through here, throwing the rotator cuff off. So your rotator cuff is 4 muscles that come together, and they help keep your shoulder girdle lined up. So if you're like this, and one shoulder's up here, and you're trying to learn to walk, you're not going to be able to swing your arms through the range of motion because you have your shoulder girdle way up high. So you have your shoulder girdle, and you have the shoulder joint. The shoulder joint goes in the ball and socket, but if that ball and socket's all squished up and bent, it's not going to move right. So with that in mind, if you look at the body, if this shoulder's pulled up, it's going to throw the fascia lines off, and it's not going to work as a system really well. So, and you can also look this up too. When you think of massaging, any kind of body work, a lot of times people may have issues going on in their neck or in their hip. It's the opposite. So often, and often with survivors, I've noticed too, they'll have pain or something going on here, but they also have something going on the opposite hip. So keeping your shoulders down in proper posture can help possibly relieve some pain you're getting, because sometimes the pain could be that the body's not lined up right. At the same time, the brain's not getting the right messages to the nerves. It's triggering pain when there's no pain in spots, or it makes people's skin real more tender to the touch, or sensitive, or just like not wanting to be touched. So the messages are confused to the nerves. But the better you can get everything lined up, the more of a chance the brain can get the nerve messages clearer. So watch your posture. Keep those abs in, like I talked about in the last video. Put your shoulders in place. Don't put them in place by pulling your shoulders back. If you look at the last video, we talked about keeping your abs in, sitting up tall from a nice strong core, and just placing your shoulders in place. So think of that positioning as you're walking on the treadmill, as you're walking down the street, if you walk with a walker, if you walk with a cane. I know it's hard sometimes because you want to be this way, or they make you lean and support, and sometimes it's a safety mechanism. You feel safer tightening things up, but try to work on strengthening this part of your body lined up, because it's going to help continuing down for the system to flow, for the movements to flow, to get your walking gait back. And it may help relieve some pain too, get the pain, the nerves balanced out. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. This, if you look at the fascia lines too, this is a picture I took off the internet because I don't have one of my own. If you look at the blue line going from like the shoulder area, the lats, through the fascia and through here, even down the side, you'll see how it works together. So whatever's going on up here, it's going to affect down there. It's going to throw your pelvic out, low back pain, hip pain, foot issues. Probably harder to get that walking gait back with the foot dropping, fixing the foot drop, if your shoulders are in your ear. So work on that, and remember that in your routine. If you're sitting or standing, balancing Bosu ball discs, sitting on the ball like I showed in the last video, and maybe you can do bicep curls on that disc, or bicep curls standing in the Bosu or sitting on the ball. Keep your shoulders down. Don't be like this. Make sure you're in good alignment for whatever it is you're doing with your exercise. If you're home doing, picking pins up or doing hand exercises to work on spasticity, whatever you have with therapy, make sure you're in good posture, because that will help everything come back. So I hope, again, this video helps you too. Again, I'm Tracy Markley from Tracy's Personal Training, Pilates, and Yoga. My website is www.tracy, the letter S as in Sam, and then personaltraining.com. So it's tracyspersonaltraining.com, no E in my name. I've written 2 books, The Stroke of an Artist, The Journey of a Fitness Trainer and Stroke Survivor. It was about a client I've had who's had a stroke, who I was with 5 to 6 days of work training and working with him through Pilates and different things in his recovery. Perfect example of how if you do something every day, things come back better, especially if you're getting the posture right and everything along with it. It's a very encouraging journey in a book. It's also an audio. And my second book was Tipping Towards Balance, Tipping Towards Balance, A Fitness Trainer's Guide to Building Walking. And my third book will be out soon. It's about the brain. So I hope this has helped you. And good luck. Watch my other videos. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Click like on the videos. And I wish you guys continued great recovery. Don't give up. Don't quit. Watch your posture. Stay engaged. Keep going. Be persistent. Be consistent. And I will keep making videos as time goes on. Okay? Have a good night.